This is a game I've wanted to make a video of for at least, like, well, since I started my YouTube account back in 2007, I wanted to make videos of this. This is Starsiege Tribes, and if I had to say a game that I was into just as much as I was DDR back in the day, it was this. I played this so damn much back in 1998, 1999, 2000, all that stuff. All my friends did. It was fucking awesome. In my opinion, this is the best. This is the pinnacle of FPS gaming, this game. This game is better, in my opinion, than every other FPS game ever released. And I've played a lot of them, so this isn't just like a baseless opinion. Your opinion probably differs. That's totally fine. I'm not going to get butthurt about it. I'm just saying what my opinion is. So a lot of people, though, were into this back in 2000 and such, but not many people play it now. And so what I'm trying to do with these videos is to provide, one, sort of like a brief tutorial on the game and everything it has to offer, and two, to try and get a whole bunch of new players into the game to try and basically get, like, you know, the actual community going again so that there's a lot of people actually playing the game. Now, there's still a really hardcore online community for it, but the mainly in forums and such, and the actual number of players has dwindled down a lot. So, yeah. But this is also a deep game. It is not a simple game where all you have to focus on is just running around and shooting shit. This game has a lot of shit that you can know about. Now, granted, you're probably not going to use a lot of it when you actually play, but you can use a lot of it. You get what I'm saying? So I'm just going to show you most of what I'm talking about here. So you start out, you pick play, and you can set in all your shit. This is back in the days of, like, you know, when the internet was still kind of like about, you know, it'd been going for a few years, and it wasn't really too weird to actually have your email and all this stuff in like a user account that everybody and their mom could see. Nowadays, you probably wouldn't see that in a game. But you can put that in. You can pick voice sets, stuff like that. You can pick to be a woman or a man, pretty classic stuff. You can pick different skins, stuff like that, you know. There's a whole big storyline with this game, too, that if you actually want to follow it, but we're not going to get into that right now. So you go into Join Multiplayer, and if you downloaded it from the link that's in the info, which, by the way, this is a free and legal download, as far as I know, considering that back in 2008, on Tribe's first anniversary, or 10-year anniversary, Dynamics, the creators of the game, released it for free. So it was free to download on GameSpy and a bunch of other sites, and now this download here that I've got at the info is a download that is the updated version of the game after fans had updated the game and made a few bug fixes and put in all the extra little things to be able to play, you know, like really a whole bunch of updates and all this shit. So you want to download that one to be able to play on the current servers. And if there is ever any trouble with that, guys, if there's somebody that has, like, claim to this or whatever else, you know, or somebody's butthurt that I have it up, please let me know, and I'll take it down immediately. But as far as I know, perfectly okay. Dynamics okayed it. Was free to download on GameSpy, all the other shit. Anyways, so what you're going to want to do is actually, when you come in here, it's going to ping some servers up here. Fuck that. Just hit cancel and go to refresh all. And you're going to get a list of servers. As you can see, not many people are playing. Back in the day, these used to be stacked, just like people all over the place. So I'm going to go into a server that has nobody in it of the mission type here, CTF. And I want to do base. I want to do the base mod and such. So we'll find a base server here. And then you've got a bunch of other mods here too, which I'll show you some of those later. But this first video is just going to deal about the core basic concepts of playing the game. And as a side note, whenever you see LT here, that means that there's no inventory stations, that the game is basically stripped down even more. So keep that in mind if you want to have all the extra stuff that I'm about to show you here. So we'll go to Stonehenge. So this is the basic way the game looks right here. Now, I know a lot of you are probably like, oh man, those graphics suck a dick, but in all honesty, that don't fucking matter. You're playing a goddamn FPS game. It don't matter what the graphics look like. If you can hit shit and it's fun and it's compelling, I'll play on black and white pixel graphics with fucking 2-bit resolution. I don't give a shit. But anyways, so I'm going to go through all the basic controls for the game, which you probably think, well, I know what to do, but I can guarantee you this game is very different from most FPS games for one main principle, which I'll get into in just a second. But the first thing is the WSAD keys move you around. WSAD, no real surprise there, that's pretty standard. Control is the default key for crouching. I have it set to X because I just like it like that. You have the crosshairs, no real big surprise there. Your left mouse button fires, stuff like that. The spacebar jumps. But here's the big difference. If you press the R key to go into third-person view, you can see that your character has something on their back. And then see that little blue thing on their back? That's a fucking jetpack. So if you look in the upper left, you can see the green bar is your life, which when you shoot yourself, obviously goes down, and the blue bar is your jetpack. Now that regenerates automatically, but there's ways to make that charge faster, which I'll get into later. So the right mouse button makes you fly, but what you want to get used to real quick is momentum and physics and inertia are a huge, huge part of this game. Like, basically, if you can't get down physics and inertia in this game, you're done. You're fucking done. So basically, like, the first thing is when you want to use your jetpack, always, I can't think of any case where you wouldn't do this, jump and then press right click. And see, that initial momentum of jumping will get you up into the air a lot faster and waste a lot less of your jetpack. Since the jetpack's on your back also, the way you're facing also determines the way that your jetpack power is used. For instance, if you're facing straight up and use your jetpack, it gets you a different distance than if you were to face down and use your jetpack, or if you were to face to the left or to the right or whatever else. So, that is the very, very basics of the game, the absolute total basics. I'm in capture the flag mode right now, which means obviously you have to go over and capture the opponent's flag. No real hard stuff there. But here's the second gameplay element about Tribes that makes it so much different than most other FPS games, actually really any FPS game I can think of, and what makes it incredibly fun to play if you know what you're doing and if your teammates and your opponents know what they're doing. And you notice these things here, this pulse sensor, this ELF turret, this indoor turret, stuff like that. Those are actual turrets in the game, and those ones are on your actual base. And so there's deployable turrets too. Now, since we're in base mode, the number of deployable turrets is very small, but if you go into mods like Shifter and Renegade and all that stuff, there's a truckload of turrets you can get that will do just pretty much anything in the book. So before we get into that though, I wanted to tell you more about the keyboard and what you can do with it and such. And so you know now the WSAD keys and flying and how to move around and how to shoot and all that stuff. So if you press the Q key, it will sometimes, it switches between weapons if you have that enabled. Apparently it's not enabled on here, but it has done that for me before. And if you press the E key, you can zoom in, and the amount that you're zooming in by is dictated by the Z key. See, if you press the Z key there, you can go to different zoom levels. Now this is really useful in a lot of cases because Tribes maps are generally very, very large and very wide open expanses of space like this, which is also different than most other FPS games. And so, I mean, you can go up here and see as far as you fucking want to, You can literally go to the edge of the map. Like, you can see my map up there in the upper right. This is a pretty damn big map, and this is actually kind of small compared to most other maps in the game. This is actually a pretty compact map. So after that, you can press the R button, as shown before, to go into third-person view. And you can press the C key to bring up your command console, which will let you do a whole bunch of things. You can click on yourself, and let's say you're in a large map and you want to make sure you don't stray off course going to the enemy base, or you want to go to your turret or something like that. So you click on yourself, and then you click, well, in this case, you want to press A, D, R, or E to pick one of those things. So let's just say D for defend. So I press D for defend, and then I click it, and now I have a waypoint. Now it's actually seeable on the map there, as you can see. Now I know where to go. So all I have to do is just follow that waypoint, and you can see the numbers down there, those little white numbers on the map. That shows you how far you are from it. So then you go up here, and there's our turret right there. So that's real good if you're on a really large map and you don't know where the fuck to go. And you can also, if there's other players on the server, you can pick to attack, defend, etc. towards another player. So that's real good too if, say, somebody's got the flag and you want to defend them. You can keep tabs on where they're at all times. Now, most players don't really use this all that often. So don't worry about that if you don't really want to use this. It's not essential to be good at this game or play it or whatever. So don't really fucking trip about that. The next button is hold on here. Actually, we can't use that yet because we actually need to go buy stuff for it. So now I'll have to show you some of the other gameplay aspects before I can show you more stuff on the keyboard. So this is going to be your best friend right here. This is the inventory station. So you go into here, and you get a big kind of like scary looking menu of a whole bunch of shit. The first thing to take into account is in almost all game types, this stuff is free. So don't worry about like, oh, what's the money thing? In very early game types of Tribes, you actually did have a limited amount of money that you could spend. That's not the case anymore, so just go fucking buck wild buying shit. You can set favorites on here and what you want to buy. Like, let's say, you know, you have a special loadout that you like. You just go to it. You pick bam, buy favorites, you're done. But to start off with, I'm going to show you each armor and what it can do. Each armor has a different set of weapons that they can and can't use, and different benefits and cons to each armor. The light armor is the fastest armor in the game, and it's also the easiest to get damage. It has the smallest life. It also has the only weapon, it's the only class that can use the laser rifle, which is basically a sniper gun. Pretty fucking easy to understand that one. So I'll show you what that does here. And then it also needs an energy pack. And you've also got 5 backpacks in base tribes. So starting with energy pack, it gives you more energy. Like, see, notice there my blue bar. Like, if we jump up, you see how slow it takes to go down? Now if I hold down Control and P, get rid of my pack, now watch how slow it goes down. Or how fast it goes down, see? So it does have a huge advantage if you're like kind of trying to get through a map quickly. That's a pretty big deal. So now you've got the laser rifle, which is completely powered by energy. So you have an infinite amount of shots. But the higher up your energy is, the more actual damage it'll do, and the bigger the beam will be. It is seeable across the map, so be careful when you're firing it. It creates a large red beam and kind of like a heat signature where you're at. So you kind of, you know, got to know what you're doing there. But if you continue to fire when there's almost nothing left, it does a little tiny beam and it does almost no damage. The next weapon is the grenade launcher, which does what it says. It launches a fucking grenade. The splash damage on it is pretty huge. It's pretty large, and it will explode automatically. The next weapon is the disc fuser. And pretty much it is like the weapon of choice for this game. I mean, it's the weapon. Like, it has huge splash damage. It flies across the air really fast. And a lot of people call it, well, it can be called a disc fuser, a disc launcher, a spin fuser. I've heard all 3 of those. But anyways, it has a huge splash damage. It's really good in aerial battles, which, yes, people fucking battle in mid-air in this game. I've seen people literally have like 4 or 5 people in the air shooting at each other, passing the flag back and forth between each other, and all this other shit. So stuff gets pretty damn crazy in this game. The next thing to note is that you have weapons that are not immediately, like, you can't see them here on the left, and that is your mines and your grenades. And your grenade is used, if you have them, by pressing G, and it just throws a grenade. Does splash damage, real simple. But you can throw it a lot farther by holding down G and then letting go. So you can adjust how far you want to throw it. The next is the mines, which in base, I believe they trigger if you go close to them. Let me see. Yes, they will trigger and they will kill you. In a lot of mods, though, almost every mod I can think of, your own mines won't trigger on yourself. On some mods, they'll trigger on your teammates, but they won't do damage. On other mods, they won't even trigger with your teammates. So keep that in mind, especially if you're playing on base, because mines do a lot of fucking damage. We'll get some more weapons here. Let's get rid of the grenade launcher. You can double click on weapons to sell them or buy them back. And again, you don't need to worry about money because it's, you know, all there. And so one tactic that people do is, actually I should have kept the disc fuser for that. Sorry. I'll do that here real quick. One tactic that people do is they do something called a mine disc shot, which is, let's say like, here we go. I'll go outside and I'll do it here. The mines will react if they get shot, like so. Like here. So you can throw a mine out and then you can shoot it, and it blows up the mine too. So although I'll probably fuck this up, some people in mid-air duels will throw down a mine and then shoot it in mid-air. And as you can see, I epically fucked that up. But yeah, basically, I'm not going to spend half the video attempting to do that. I'm not professing to be the world's greatest Tribes player. I've played it for like probably well over 10 years. I love the game, but there's a lot better people than I am at it. But anyways, that's a basic kind of bread and butter tactic there. If you're in like air duel to do the mine disc shot, almost a guaranteed kill against almost everybody. So we're going to go through a few more weapons here. And all of these weapons I'm using, aside from the laser rifle, can be used by all classes. So keep that in mind. So we're going to go here, and we will try out the blaster, which uses energy. And it's pretty much like the melee weapon of this game. I mean, it comes with almost all classes. It's basic, does almost no damage, but it uses your energy, so that kind of sucks dick. Then you've got the chain gun, which is pretty much hated and loved by many players because of the wide area of effect it's got, the pretty much easiness of using it in mid-air duels where you're kind of hovering and the other guy's like a perfect target, and the fact that it's got ample supply of ammo, more than enough to kill an enemy with the damage it does. And then you've got the plasma rifle, which, you know, it does what it does. It does pretty sufficient damage. I mean, look at the splash damage. That's pretty much half your life. So you get hit by 2 of those point blank, you're fucked. Finally, I've got one more weapon for this class, which is the elf gun. And the elf gun is kind of unique wherein it doesn't do much damage, but what it does is it sucks away the energy of a person. It sucks away their energy, or if it's a turret, it sucks away their energy. And yes, all the things in this game have actual energy. The inventory stations, the turrets, the generators, all that stuff. Sorry about that. And before this map ends, I'd like to go on to what the generators are. The generators power your entire base. If you knock out the enemy generator, their turrets, their inventory stations, their ways to get weapons, turrets, everything, it's all gone. So you have to repair it using a repair pack, which I'll go into in just a second. But yeah, you knock that out, it's done. So going into one of the packs here I'd like to cover. Oh, actually, let's just do this before this map ends. The last thing I've got is the targeting gun, which will actually target for your teammates where something's at. So let's say you want a turret blown up or something like that. You can highlight this. You can paint it with the targeting turret, and it will show up as a beacon on their, on their screens, and then they can target it or go towards it or whatever else. Like, let's say the enemies drop the flag. You can target the flag in case you're like a heavy and you don't want to run with the flag and you want a light to come over and pick it up. Or if you're a heavy and you have a mortar, then you can target it even better with the targeting gun. I mean, like, your teammates can target it better if they have a mortar.